in 1921 left the once prosperous Black district burned to the ground. More than 10,000 of the Black residents there homeless and an estimated 300 dead. Let's bring in Wall Street Journal White House reporter Michael Bender. So, Michael, tell us about this interview, especially the president's comments here about Juneteenth, because the president gave an interview to the Wall Street Journal in which he says he made Juneteenth famous, that, quote, nobody had ever heard of it before. Juneteenth, of course, commemorates the end of slavery in the U.S., and as you know, he rescheduled his Tulsa rally because of backlash against holding it on that date amid racial tensions in the nation, especially in a city where a racist massacre in 1921 left the once prosperous Black district burned to the ground. More than 10,000 of the Black residents there homeless and an estimated 300 dead. Let's bring in Wall Street Journal White House reporter Michael Bender. So, Michael, tell us about this interview, especially the president's comments here about Juneteenth, because it seems like an admission that he didn't know what Juneteenth was.
I think that's correct. We talked about that a little bit in the context of him having to change the date of his rally. And he told me that he started polling people around him, as he usually does on any range of subjects, about what Juneteenth was and who knew what about it. He couldn't find anyone, he told me, who knew what Juneteenth was until he asked a Black Secret Service agent who informed him, as you said, that it's a commemoration of freeing the slaves.
That's stunning. I just interviewed the reporter who did this interview, and he said that the president was, he hadn't heard of Juneteenth, right? And he was asking people around him if they knew about it, and so he was giving off the impression that he didn't have people around him who knew, and it was actually a Black Secret Service agent who told him what it was. I wonder what your reaction is to the president having no idea what this is and surrounding himself with people who have no idea what this is and scheduling his rally in the middle of racial unrest on this day.
Well, I laugh for two things. One, because it is funny, and two, because it's laughable, right? And it's serious. The president of the United States should know what Juneteenth is, but this president doesn't know, and pretending that he did and that he made Juneteenth famous, everyone knows that that is a farce and that it's what he does on a daily basis. It is a lie. This president he doesn't know about history in general. So why would he know about something like Juneteenth when it relates to African Americans and the struggle that Black people have had in this country? He doesn't know. He didn't know who Frederick Douglass was. He thought Frederick Douglass was still alive. So it is sad that we have a leader that knows so much, so little about so much in this country right now, especially when it comes to policing, when it comes to systemic racism. That I understand, and I think you're probably going to talk about it, that he's saying, well, yeah, there is some systemic, you can't have some systemic racism. It's part of the system, which means there would be systemic racism. So I'm not surprised that he knew nothing, pretended that he did, then turned to a Black person or his Black friend or someone he knew to find out the information, and then took it as his own, which he does all the time.
So you mean like it's darkly funny, right? Not funny, ha-ha.
Not funny,
I don't find it funny. I don't find it funny at all, Don. You know, I mean, I laugh like sort of out of discomfort with the idea that we're even having to discuss that the president doesn't know what Juneteenth is when his White House and they clarified this to him.
I laugh because it's a joke that the president has made a joke of a lot of himself. And yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I think, yes, it's terrible that he doesn't know, but a lot of people, quite honestly, didn't know. They may now what Juneteenth is and was. They didn't know because it may not have been taught. And why not say, I didn't know, now I know. Not a big deal, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, it's laughable because he makes a joke out of himself, but it's sad that he wouldn't know as a leader of the free world.
And so you mentioned the systemic racism that the Michael Bender, the Wall Street Journal reporter who asked him about this. And so the question was, this is the president's quote response, Don, was, I'd like to think there is not, but unfortunately there probably is some. I would also say it's very substantially less than it used to be. And I mean, put this into context, right? He has all of these aides around him who are saying there is no systemic racism in the system, even as in his White House. I think this is what I find startling. He's there in a room and he doesn't have anyone really in his White House who is black and can sort of clue him in on some of these things. Isn't that sort of an example right there of systemic racism?
Yeah, you're so smart, Brianna.
Thank you, Don.
I don't really have to say anything after what you just said, because yes, there is an example, and all one has to do is look at the makeup. Just look at a picture of people who are in the White House, who are his senior advisors, who are his military leaders, and people who are in his ear, who are in his inner circle every single day, and then there is in itself an example of systemic racism. One of his only advisors, who is African American, I spoke with Jaron Smith the other day, who is in the White House. I would hope that Jaron, at some level, is trying to educate the president about this. But I think it's tough when you have people around you who look like you, who only represent your interests, who get on television and say quite boldly, with no shame, that there's no systemic racism in this country. First of all, I think the president should get a dictionary to look up what systemic means, and then he would realize that you can't say, well, I think there's some systemic racism and that it is better than before. It doesn't really work that way. Now, if he had said racism, it is improving in some areas and we need to work on it in other areas, then I would say okay. But to say that there's some systemic racism, but that doesn't make any sense at all.
You saw this news last hour, Don, that Facebook has taken down some Trump campaign ads, and this is the quote for it, right? They said this, quote, violating their policy against organized hate, and that's because one of the images that was in this ad is one that the Anti-Defamation League, which, you can go and look, they just have them all listed out, you can see, they say this is identical to a Nazi symbol. I wonder, how did that happen? Not that you know the answer to that, but how can that be explained away?
Well, it goes back to your quite adept answer about systemic racism, and in that he doesn't realize, or the people around him, and the people who part of his campaign, or whoever this is who works for the Trump team, they don't understand what they're putting out and how it may be offensive, or they're doing it on purpose. Because if you don't know what a Nazi symbol or a swastika and on, if you don't know what that represents, or even the Confederate flag, then you probably need you need to be educated about it, and maybe you shouldn't be working for someone who is supposed to be the leader and representing and works for the American people. How does that happen? I think it happens because that's exactly what they want to put out. That's what they want to send out. And I think Facebook and many other social media sites have just gone along with it and have not called him out on it, not had precautions or procedures in place, have not taken it down before, and now they're realizing what's happening in the country, how the country feels about this, how the American people feel about it, and they're saying all of a sudden, whoa, we need to take care of this. I don't think it's an accident. And
do you think his campaign is purposely putting out a Nazi symbol?
I think they're purposely putting out that symbol. I don't know if it's a wink and a nod, but yes, they're purposely putting it out. And if they are not smart enough to realize what it looks like or what it represents, then what does that say to you? I don't really have to answer that question.
Yeah.
Then they're doing exactly what they want to do. Wouldn't you, if you saw that symbol, Brianna, wouldn't you know when you say, hey, well, I don't know if we should be putting that out.
It?
I think that, of course they would.
Yeah.
Of course you would.
Yeah. Don Lemon, hey, thank you so much, and I just want to plug your new
Don't forget
podcast.
about my podcast. Yeah, I want to talk about that.
No,
I hope
never. I would
listen.
not. Here it is, and look.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 36, beginning at verse 1. To the chief musician of Psalm of David, the servant of the Lord, Yahweh Yahweh Shah. The transgressions of the wicked saith within my heart that there is no fear of power before his eyes, for he flattereth himself in his own eyes until his iniquity be found to be hateful. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. He deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth evil. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory. Call Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba Hashem, Rachakodas Rakatam. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, telling me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim around the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so. Shalom to the Aquathine Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willing, it's an edifying video. This is the brother Yahweh Sap out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Yahweh Shah. And doing this lesson because, like I said, I seen a brother from Kansas City do a video about Juneteenth. Basically, and he was saying how, it's bogus bullshit. And I never really understood what it was. So after, researching a little bit, I seen, I think I seen an article or I seen a video where Trump said that basically he made it famous or whatnot because nobody knew about it. And then I seen, like I said, the head of the Kansas City camp do a video on it. So I went and researched it. So I found an article about it because at the end of the day, it is a significant, and just showing you, Satan is true as form. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it wasn't, known about. Like even I don't like Don Lemon. I think he's, to show you how, these elites get at even they higher paid slaves. You know what I mean? Like, cause Trump is a puppet. You know what I mean? He's a slave to a certain extent. You know what I mean? He's hoping to manage this crash to the point where he's not just left ass out. You get what I'm saying? And that's what most of these people are doing. But my point being, it's funny, not to digress, but, you got certain NBA players talking about can't wait to get back to work. You got certain players talking about we should boycott or start their own leagues. But the catch is now they're going to be wearing, the bands like they did in China, to track, after China, released their citizens off the quarantine, they made them put on wristbands and whatnot. And it's funny because everything China's doing, America's doing, they're just doing it going about it in a different kind of way. So, I think that, like, somebody made a video about how, those left-hand spirits aren't really dealing with Esau like that. I can agree with that, you know what I mean? It seems like they got him to a certain point, and that's why Esau is scrambling now. You know what I mean? They didn't see this happening like this. They expected the people to actually, like, stand up. That's why he activated those 1 million troops, and it ain't work out the way he expected. Best believe those troops, he never just, and then the thing is, he's actually, like, I just did a video earlier. No, I didn't. I was going to do a video. Basically, it's talking about how Esau or Trump and the Pentagon are basically bumping heads because Trump is trying to withdraw troops. The Pentagon is basically, because Trump is not a military leader, you know what I mean? Majority of the time you have the president either had some military background or he's a politician. Trump was neither, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like with the Bill Gates thing, but not to be bouncing everywhere around the whole situation. Point being that this devil literally is taking credit for something that, how could you take credit for something like that? You got to recall when the Emancipation Proclamation went through, people didn't find out that they were free till years later. And the article was going to go on to that. So this damn devil, to show you, like Don Lemon said, at the end of the day, people probably weren't aware of it because you got to remember, look at how the society is based and how curriculum is based and how the school system is based. You know what I mean? Like, you learn more information that's not true or that is not really relevant than you learn things and skills that'll actually help you. Like, for instance, when I was in school, when I was coming up, we went to home ec. I didn't want to take it at the time, but I'm glad I took that. You know what I mean? Because it showed you how to actually, like, cook and do little things. Things, I mean, like, it's just like now it's a different day and age, you know what I mean? Like, I can only imagine, and especially when you take the time to think about, like, majority of the stuff that you learn, when you come to find out that a lot of, the history is based on his lies, you know what I mean, or his story, you know what I mean, the way he want to present it, which is truth to that, you know what I mean. So I'm gonna go into the article a little bit because I'm not trying to make this too long. I don't have many scriptures. I was just gonna bring out scriptures about Esau being a fucking devil, which he is. I mean, like, to show you how he really was ignorant to the fact of that. Like I say, how could you gloat and boast on the fact that you made a particular day or event popular when you don't even understand the event itself? Proving that by he basically bragged about something, but that when they did the Emancipation Proclamation, people didn't get freed till 2 years later. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day, people aren't truly free. I mean, like I say, I just watched Elder Apostle Aram Lab do a video. He said, "What's the difference?" He says, "2020. What has really truly changed?" You got women. We watching videos of as a Israelite man, as a so-called black man, watching women. Not just. I mean, you got our piece of shit ass women. It's like the piece of shit females. A woman is totally different, you know what I mean? That's why I always say I can give respect to a woman. I'm not going to respect a bitch or a female, you know what I mean? And anybody offended by that, don't watch the channel or the video. These corny ass, 2/3 ass niggas, or, you know what I mean? Because it's a difference, you get what I'm saying? Like, a woman, literally, like, recently I had a female say, I'm a female because, we went lightweight back and forth. I'm trying to order something. I asked for a specific thing. She gonna try and give me what I want. Some kind of way we get into an argument. I'm like, well, the whole reason why we arguing is because you want to give me what you want to give me, not what I asked for. So you not following directions. How are you mad at me? She's like, I'm a woman. I say, yeah, and that's what, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't over in your face and I'm across the thing from you. If you a woman, act like a fucking woman. You want to get mad at me. I'm not your man. I'm not your kid. I'm a grown ass man coming in here keeping you a job. You know what I mean? Like, Salakia digressing, but my point is, it's just like the mentality of these people is so like, and that's why the Lord gonna really judge this place. I mean, that's something insignificant, but it's not though. Look at the mindset of putting a woman on a plateau or the pedestal or putting her in a position of power. Look how fucked up shit is. You know what I mean? A woman ain't going. That's why. Take the time to think about it. The Elder Malcolm just did no, that was Elder Apostle Tahar. He literally just did a video showing the Edomite cop broad breaking down. That's showing you. Now, she has a position. She has a bit of authority in Esau's system. But look at how weak she is. You know what I mean? Like, she literally broke over a muffin. You got brothers that be catching hell and lightweight, bugging out lightweight, but, trying to hold on. But, you know what I'm saying? We all lightweight fall short in this thing. I just was watching a brother from Chicago. I don't know his name, but he was saying that. He said, you ain't gonna always get it right, which is the truth. They say a righteous man falleth 7 times but gets back up. At the end of the day, this is a woman. And people just don't understand it. That's why it's gonna be so much like reminiscent of the Purge. You know what I mean? Like, literally. Anyhow, Salakia. Anyhow, I'm about to, is that just through my train of thought? I ain't gonna say that's Satan, but Satan jump on brothers and everybody. I was going somewhere with the whole point of bringing all that out. But I'm gonna bring out a little bit of this article, and then I got like one scripture. There's a couple scriptures that, like I said, I can go into like about Esau, but I ain't trying to make this that long. It's already at 20 minutes. So it says, what is Juneteenth? Juneteenth is a combination of June and 19th and marks the end of slavery in the U.S. What should businesses take away from George Floyd's death? Okay, Friday marks the 155th anniversary of the end of slavery in the U.S. So that's today. The annual celebration is called Juneteenth. And I've never heard of this. I mean, I knew about the fact that when the Emancipation Proclamation was done, I knew about the fact that it took years for certain places to actually recognize it. And it's multiple books I read about that, but I never knew it was called a certain day. And that's just showing you the hypocrisy of Esau. You know what I mean? He already know, you know what I mean? Like, the annual celebration is called Juneteenth, post-Mantia of June and 19th, and commemorates the day in 1865 when Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced that the Civil War had ended, and read General Order Number 3 that said all enslaved people were free. Granger announcement came more than 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. Juneteenth, what you need to know. The first celebration of Juneteenth took place the year after Granger's announcement. And then look at this shit, though. Looking like some coons. Yeah, because the elder brother in Kansas City, he was shorter. You got people marching and all this. Amongst all this, take the time to think about this. Why would it, like, you just watched that video. It said that basically Trump, like, campaign had an ad where it was like, looked like a racist symbol. That's just like, why would he basically back his rallies around a date that, you know, had something to do with so-called blacks? You know, when you got a country full of people, we live in a country where you got people that still walk around with Confederate flags, knowing what that represents. We live in a country when they did the COVID-19 and the lockdown shit and you had to wear a mask, you had Edomites walking around with fucking Ku Klux Klan masks. I mean, all this is doing is shit. This place is gonna eat itself alive. You get what I'm saying? And them simpleton ass people that, they never did nothing to me. When these people literally got a hatred towards you, and you all for not having no hatred towards them. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you done fell in love with your oppressor. You know what I'm saying? That's a sad thing. That means you have no fight left in you. That's why it talks about in the book of Genesis about Judah's an old lion, who shall rouse him up. You know what I mean? When it comes to that food, you know, because Judah get more busy with another Judite or another so-called black person before they really get into it with Esau for real. I mean, I done seen them like tax Esau on the joint shit like that. But my point being is, when it come down to food or they family, that's when Judah gonna stand up. You know what I mean? As well as all the other tribes and Esau too. You know what I mean? You can know how many channels is on this YouTube. It's one guy called Black Scout Tactical or some shit. I subscribe to his channel. He got some hellified information. He telling you how to get out of handcuffs. He's showing you how to shoot, and he know about the chip coming. So at the end of the day, and Esau is a whole lot more aware of what's going on than Jake is. Jake thinking it's a fucking party. Jake out there, when I was locked up, literally I saw bitches with their kids while they looting down there. You know how, and that's a nigga one for you. Do you, like, say, why would you bring your kids down in the, they shooting motherfucking gas and smoke bombs, and you got your kids down there. The first celebration of Juneteenth, it says young men from the Light Brothers dance team marching in the Juneteenth celebration parade in Denver in 2015. Texas made it a state holiday in 1980. Never knew that. Since then, 45 other states and Washington, D.C. have moved to officially recognize the day. But Cleveland, though, the New York Times reported, however, Juneteenth is not a federal holiday. Nike declares June, because we buy so many Nikes because they look at us like dumb, stupid niggas. Nike declares June 10th a company holiday. So they ain't giving you nothing, no discount. They just, niggas can go get off this day. According to Juneteenth.com, the holiday is almost always fun. This sounds about as much of a joke as February Black History Month, the shortest month in the fucking. What the funniest part is, the whole country built off of so-called black people. Though. Like, you had niggas that built the White House. People don't even go into this history, though. Yeah, niggas built a house called the White House. Huh? According to Juneteenth.com, the holidays almost always focus on education and self-improvement. Celebratory activities including prayer services, rodeos, barbecuing, and baseball, the website said. Parades also take place in major U.S. cities. The Times reported that some people who had been enslaved along with their relatives traveled to Galveston every year for Juneteenth. Get Fox Business on the go by clicking here. That's it. So, it says the holiday has reached even further than U.S., South Korea, Ghana, Israel, Taiwan, France, and Guam have had or still hold Juneteenth celebrations. Juneteenth has garnered more interest this year in light of the protests over police brutality and the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. Take time to think about that. That's like a slap in the face. You know what I mean? Like you had three major so-called black people die within like succession. It's like every month they was killing a nigga, right? Then, like I said, people don't even realize you had like four motherfuckers get hanged. Not motherfuckers, four so-called niggas get hanged within like the time from probably within like a month. You had two people that got hanged, I think, in Florida, Texas, and one of them can't remember. You know what I mean? It's so much stuff going on, but I just got one scripture because at the end of the day, it kind of pissed me off reading that. Because you know what I'm saying? Like that should be a smack in the. Know what? That should make you mad, like the $1,200 stimulus. You know what I'm saying? like what the fuck? I mean, even if you try to like penny pinch that money, that shit. If a motherfucker go through tax money quickly, what you gonna do with that little $1,200? Like, I mean, and then to show you how they really don't give a fuck, you got people that didn't even get the $1,200, or they came up with loopholes that you couldn't get it. You know what I mean? Oh, if you owe child support, you ain't gonna get it. You could have been paying child support, but they figured out a way to still fuck you. You know what I mean? Like that's how you know it really wasn't for you. You know what I mean? It was really because the economy has crashed. You get what I'm saying? And for them to actually keep the economy going, they had to fucking pass. Listen, people don't even get once this shit, when food and gas and everything start going ridiculously high, that's when you know this shit over with. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's why this is the first time in history that they just pass and where they just putting trillions of dollars in the fucking economy. Psalms chapter 73, 73, I'm going to start at verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. And who are we talking about? We're talking about this red Hebrew Edomite, Esau Edom. You know what I mean? A motherfucker like Donald Trump that could say and make statements like he made, you know what I mean? Grab him in the pussy and all kind of shit like that. And yet still no repercussions come about. You know what I mean? You know, this is the same guy got caught up talking about, oh yeah, he was dealing with Russia. Then, yeah, you know what I mean? They not in trouble. Even, like I said, I've been homeless. I've seen a motherfucking dirty ass Edomite, dirty as fuck, smelling like shit, yet still more proud than motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. More proud than the nigger bitch. And the nigger woman is proud for her. It say, therefore pride compasseth them. That's the spirit. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain. Violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. And at the end of the day, through this situation, know who's taking a beating? Because most Jakes, I mean, you got Jakes that was well off or had certain stuff, but you know what I mean, at the end of the day, it's more so Esau that just took a beating through that. You know what I mean? Like when this economy crashed and they just literally, like basically they just eliminate the middle class, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you got certain positions that it's going to always have to be essential. You know what I mean? My job was somewhat essential, you know what I mean? Because they had government contracts. Like, of course, like the gas company jobs, the light company jobs. But them going to be some of the same people that's to be on the first ones to get that fucking vaccine. So, I mean, you know, it's good that you work. The Most High blessed you to be able to keep your families fed and safe through this thing. But then he about to test you and try you. You know what I mean? Like, it says, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. Proving that by bringing out the whole article in the video. This man literally saying like he did a good thing, or like it was, man, like, and then literally lying. Like, I mean, to show you like he really like, I mean, I don't really even watch Don Lemon. I don't trust him for real. But at the same time, I will give him that. He was true to that. He say at the end that you got all these people around you to show how like fucking just like, what's the word? Basically how they so not unaware, but just basically they have no clue to the fact that, you know what I mean, like they didn't know what the holiday was, first of all, but then for you to sit up there and literally try to brag about like you brought some knowledge to somebody, not knowing that, that's nothing to brag about. Because like I said, when you go into the Emancipation Proclamation, that didn't actually get enforced for like 2 years. I mean, like it was an order, but then, like I said, it didn't really go through until like 2 years later. So you had people that was freed from slavery, but still still working for the slave owners or still in slavery. And that just show you what kind of wicked, corrupt place this is. They set their mouth against the heavens and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. And they say, how doth Yahweh know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. And right now, you know what I mean? You got all these companies, all these Edomite rich companies, all these banks that basically, you know, it's funny. The banks got bailed out, but they're not loaning money. And you got stupid ass people talking about, oh yeah, this gonna be the year and I'm gonna start a business. Like, this the worst year to try to start anything. You know what I mean? Like, this is the year to try and actually like get money or invest in like some shit, like some actual food, invest in like some precious. You know what? I was trying to look at like precious metals. You know how expensive precious metal. I mean, like they said, gold went up so much, like it doubled. You know, like an ounce of gold was like, I think like almost like 1,700, 1,800. I think it's like 13. I mean, like 3,000 something now for just an ounce. So you know what I mean, like, and that goes along with silver too. So at the end of the day, like people that got money to burn, because you got people that still trying to hold on to this cash, showing you how they like Esau play with your mind. You seen shows like The Walking Dead or certain shows like what was that movie I Am Legend. You know what I mean? Where, you know what I mean, they find that money, but, you know what I mean, like, the money's worthless, you know what I mean? Like, so, I'm going to end a lesson on that. At the end of the day, this goddamn devil got to pay. And not just him, but his fucking broad, his bitch, and all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, because, like I said, there's multiple videos on YouTube surfacing about, you got these red fucking pink women that's literally, like to show you the pride of them, they literally like, it was one where Jake just was like, lady, you can't have your dog, it's supposed to be on a leash. She got offended by him telling her the rules of the, you know what I mean? Like people don't even see what these people are doing. This man literally has a Nazi symbol in his campaign, just like he chose to literally wait. Come on, like the same people that was rallying for Trump are some of these people that's like call themselves neo-Nazis and fucking Ku Klux Klan and shit like that, like good old boys, you know what I mean? Just like with that NASCAR shit. NASCAR, all these years, it ain't been a problem for you that allow these people to come with Confederate flags and shit like that, but now you want to take that away. So how do you think these Edomites feel about that? These Edomites feel they losing their country. So what do you think they gonna do? Why do you think it's a upswing of fucking lynchings? You know what I mean? Literally, this 2020 and motherfuckers getting lynched. Talking about, oh, we think they lynched themselves on their own. Motherfucker just went out by a playground and just hung himself up. So with that, I'm going to end the lesson. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory. Call Haloyim La Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rachakot. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim around the four corners. The earth pushing the truth with faith and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwath and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willing, was an edifying video. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, looking like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly, shalom, shalom, and mawat la babal, shalom.